Why are you waiting for somebody else to believe in you and to have more control? You got to gamble on yourself. You got to know that, hey, listen, when I gamble on myself, I have the utmost confidence. I know what the outcome is going to be. Put your health in your own hands. Put winning in your own grasp. Don't wait for somebody else to hand it to you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your abilities. Not only do you have to believe in them, you have to work in them. You have to excel in them. You have to understand them. If you're not willing to gamble on yourself, I'm not going to gamble on you. There's no way. I'm not going to gamble on you.
You have to kill your current self for your new self to have room to grow. And so it's this constant appraisal of your skills and activities and saying, which of these makes me stronger? Which of these makes it more likely for me to hit my goal? And I just want to give you that frame because that single frame of, is this person being in my life make it more likely or less likely that I hit my goal? Is this activity or this behavior that I do make it more or less likely that I hit my goal? And I consistently just ask that question over and over and over again. And that is because for me, I do love my goals more than I love my friend, because my goals will be with me long after they are. And so if you think about your relationship with your goals and you put it on the same pedestal or higher than your relationship with your friends, you're going to lose one of the relationships. And the question is, which one is the one that's going to serve you more in the long term? That's a decision for you. But for me, I can tell you personally, achieving my goals has served me more than any one person has. And because achieving your goals is a generalized thing, it can open all doors to new relationships. And so you do have to burn sometimes what you have in order to have what you want.
The winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. Yeah. That's reality. And dude, this is something that people just can't get through their head. They want everything to be fucking fair. It is not ever going to be fair. Ever. There are going to be people that are better looking than you. There are going to be people that have better genetics than you. There are going to be people that are smarter than you. They're going to have people that have more money than you, or grew up in a better family, or have more advantages, or have more opportunities. So what? Okay, it's your job to assess where are you and then take the action to get where you want to go, regardless of where you start, regardless of where someone else starts. And so many people tell themselves this ridiculous story about all these advantages that other people have, when in reality, a lot of times these people didn't even have those advantages. So it becomes a self-victimizing story that people tell.
So if you want to become healthy, you don't do things that unhealthy people do. Why? Because you're not positioning yourself for that which you want. So you need to tune your frequency to the things that you want. So if you want something in life, first you have to think about it. Secondly, you have to work on it. And third, you have to allow that to become part of your nature. So if you want anything in life, first you have to know what you want. Two is you have to position yourself, become that which you want before you are, and naturally you'll attract it. And three, understand that you get in life what you deserve, and you get in life what you think about. So if you want something, you need to think about it clearly, and your actions will determine who you become. You're a byproduct of your thoughts. If you have low vibrational thoughts, if you're thinking about negative things, that's what you're going to attract. But if you think about positive things, if you think about abundance, if you think about winning, if you think about self-development, if you think about purpose, if you think about helping others, you're going to attract those opportunities and those experiences naturally, because you've positioned yourself to receive that.
So one of the things that you guys need to do, if you feel like if you're not moving forward in life, and if you have this kind of thought process that, oh, it's probably not going to work, so I might as well not bother. If you fall into that category, this is what you need to do. And this is another cognitive reframe. And it's to shift from being outcome oriented to action oriented. So don't focus on the outcome of your action. Don't focus on the grade. Try to focus on what you actually learn. Try to focus on what you're doing, not what you're getting.
The reason why certain people in the world are respected and admired at the level that they are is because so many people fail. Because when the pressure hits, most people leave the arena. We all root for the people in the arena and we criticize them. What we don't recognize is the fact that whoever is in the arena getting their asses handed to them at least they had the courage to get in the arena. They're not fans on the outside. They're in the arena fighting. Those are the people we admire.
If you go outside and it starts raining and you decide to quit and go inside, the work doesn't get done. But if you go outside and it starts raining and you continue to do the work and you get it all done and it's still raining, what difference does it make? Because you still move forward regardless of the circumstances. And I think once you can figure out how to continue to move forward regardless of what the circumstances are or whatever it is going on in your life, which is very simple because continuing to move forward only takes, 3 to 5 real critical tasks every single day. And if you can move forward continuously, even in the hard times, and you don't quit, how can you lose? You can't lose.
Most people, the bottom 80% are lazy. And it's something that it's not polite to talk about. But most people are lazy, and they're looking for an easy way. They're looking for a shortcut to be successful, and there aren't any. But if you do something repeatedly over and over, you develop a habit. So most people are in the habit of looking for easy ways to get the things they want. And they're surrounded by people who think the same way. As much as 95% of your thinking is determined by the people that you associate with on a regular basis. If you associate with people who don't work hard, don't learn, socialize after work, then you become like them. You think like them, you talk like them, you dress like them, you marry them, and so you're married to someone who also has no ambition. And you raise children, and your children have no ambition. Just go to work and complain about your work. But top people associate with other top people.
You all have this, and all of us have this conflict going on at all times inside of us. And it's between two forces. And the first force is your survival instinct that's been with us for thousands, if not tens of thousands of years. And this is a thing that, that noise in the bushes that could possibly kill you. It wants to inject into you fear and doubt and worry and anxiety. It wants you at fight or flight. And that's kind of your voice of fear and your inner critic. And that's really loud. That voice is in your mind all the time. And then there's another voice, the second voice. And that voice has been written about and talked about by philosophers for thousands of years. And that voice has been called many names. It's been called your intuition. It's been called source, God, the universe, your soul, your true self, your inner wisdom, lots of names for that. That voice is a little quieter. And that voice isn't in your head. A lot of times it shows up in your body. It shows up in your heart, your gut, your chest. You feel that. And unfortunately, that first voice really drowns us out a lot of times. And the thing is that the voice of fear will lead you to a life that's too small. And you know this. You already know this. And the way that you know this is you feel this. You feel this conflict, this dissonance and tension when you're in that position, when you're doing something that's too small. If you want to reach full power in this one life of yours, it's in the second voice. It's in the voice that's the real you. This contains your dreams, your path. It contains your energy. And when you stop denying who you really are, there's really no end to what you can accomplish.
I learned that without pressure, you don't really develop. You become stagnant and you don't truly find out about what you are capable of. And actually, if people embraced pressure a little bit more, you would surprise yourself and be a lot more confident in what you could be doing.
If you get people to expose themselves to what they're terrified of, being terrified isn't the end of the story. Recovering is the end of the story. And so that begs the question is to what degree are we capable of bearing suffering and prevailing? And the answer might be to the degree that we're capable of confronting it forthrightly. And that might actually just be true. And you think, well, how could it be otherwise in some sense? What's going to call the best out of you if it isn't what's most challenging? Because it's not that easy to get the best called out of you. It's not going to just happen because someone rings your doorbell, right? You have to be shook to the core before you're going to undertake what's necessary to make the sacrifices that are required to put you in alignment. That doesn't happen with no reason.
You need to understand that you must be willing to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow. You have to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow. The Bible, there's a verse in the Bible that says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. You can't become the best version of yourself unless you're willing to neglect who you are today. The bad habits, the bad friendships, the bad relationships, the bad ideas, the bad mindset. Because if you want to become a millionaire, if you want to become a person that's successful, if you want to develop a better physique, it will require sacrifice. And if you want to get to the next level, it'll cost you. There is a price to success. It hurts. Like, you've had to neglect friends.
Yeah.
You've had to neglect certain comments from family members.
Yeah.
You've had to work overnight for years and years, and nobody's gonna see that.
Yeah.
Nobody, but that's the price. And you will either live the price with two aspects, because you're gonna pay the price regardless of life. You will pay the price of discipline and hard work, or you will pay the price of regret. And the last thing I want to live is a life of regret. When I'm sitting on my deathbed by myself, my girl won't be there, you won't be there, it'll just be me, myself, and I will have to live and deal with the consequences and the pain of, did I pursue my fullest potential, or did I settle for average and mediocre because I wasn't able to sacrifice the current version of myself for who I was able to become?
Why you don't complain? Number one, it's unattractive. Okay, number two, nobody gives a shit anyways if you're gonna complain. How about we say no one cares? Because no one cares if you complain. And number three, it's ineffective. Tell me what value you would get out of it. You complain, good, now what? You feel better? You want me to give you a tissue? Okay, like, we don't cry over spilled milk. That happened, good. Life's hard sometimes, let's move forward. Let's move on, let's make it better, let's find a solution. Guys, see the good in life. Remember this, I want you to understand this. There's this thing called perspective, okay? And everything that happens for you, not against you. Find the good in life. Every time something happens, I don't care what it is, I don't care how bad it is, I always say, there's gotta be some good in this. Most people, they walk into every day and they say, God, man, they're always noticing what's wrong. I'm always noticing what's right. Like, just understand this, don't complain. If you're alive and you're watching this, you're lucky. You're alive in a very special generation, you're alive in a very special era. You live in a time right now where you don't want to be like all these other people. Okay, you want to be a winner, you want to be a leader, don't complain, okay? Guys, this ruins men's life. Never complain.
No one cares about your problems, especially if you're a grown man. Understand that the world doesn't owe you understanding, and it doesn't matter how you feel. You need to get the shit done no matter how you feel. You know how many times, guys, I don't feel like going to the gym, but I go anyway? There's times that I don't feel like doing a podcast, I do it anyway, or I'm tired and I don't want to do it. It doesn't matter. The difference between a man and a woman is you do what's required regardless of how you feel, okay? So you just gotta get the pussiness outside of your head and realize that no one gives a fuck about your excuses. They only care about results, and how you feel doesn't matter, because how you feel is a temporary feeling. However, success is forever.
Motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. I think that a lot of people will sit on the couch waiting to get motivated, like something's going to drop out of their ceiling, and just all of a sudden they're going to be motivated. Action will take you out of doubt, but doubt will take you out of action. If you will get started, you're going to motivate yourself. You'll have some little successes. You're going to get that account. You're going to get that contract signed. You're going to get somebody to say, yes, I want one of your services. You're going to get somebody that says, oh, I want to join your team. That's what's going to motivate you. But motivation will get you going, but you've got to have the habits. I mean, you've got to have the discipline, back to discipline. You got to have the habits that I know what I'm going to do when I get up in the morning, and I know I've got my list there. I know that I need to make these calls. I've got the habit of waking up and jumping on that list and getting it done, and then I've got the habit of, before I go to bed at night, writing me a new list for the next day. If there's anything I didn't get accomplished today, I'm going to put it at the top of tomorrow's list. I'm going to add a few more things on it. I get in the right habits.
And you really want something bad enough, the universe is going to move out of your way and it's going to give it to you. I think too many people, they fall into being victims, and I was born here, or I had this set of circumstances, I can't become great. It's bullshit. If you want it bad enough, you can go get it.
Momentum's everything. Momentum is everything, okay? So if you want to know how I made most of the money that I've ever made, here's the best way that I'd put it to you. All my money got made in a state of high momentum, value for time, and total fucking focus. That's how all the money I ever made got made. Okay, it means eliminating distraction, locking in, seeing what it is you want to build, and putting dedicated time on that thing without distraction, and being in a state of momentum where you do it every fucking day or as much as you can.
So in your perspective, how do you build confidence?
From
if you
practice
don't have it?
failure and then knowing that you can overcome it. So every time I played a sport and lost a game and then came back and practiced again, and just every time I got rejected from a girl, every time I failed a test and came back, every time I had something in my life happen and go sideways and then come back. So like when somebody fakes a pregnancy and then says you're a robber and threaten to kill her, and you know, you go to court and you win the case, and then the next girlfriend, you're like, oh. And then you're like, okay, no matter how bad this rejection happens, no matter what relationship I'm in, it'll be fine. I'll find another girl. You know, so I have an abundance mindset. There's always gonna be plenty of fish in the sea type thing. There's always gonna be something good coming along. So I don't think that, you know, focusing on what bad is happening is anything that people should do. Just focus on, this thing in my life happened and I overcame it, and any other that happens in my life, I'll also overcome that. I think that's what really builds confidence.
If you're really being honest with yourself, you guys need to go to war with yourself. No one in your life can change you but you. No one in your life can change your family but you. Guys, you're the fucking bloodline breaker in your family, or you're not. But I'm going to tell you guys something. You're all fucking expiring. So if you're going to do it, now's the time to fucking rise.
A Corvette or a fucking dragster, sure, it's fucking zooming 300 miles an hour in 5 fucking seconds. But you know what goes the furthest is a goddamn rocket ship. And does that thing just fucking take off in 0.1 seconds? No, it kind of has a slow acceleration, you know? So get excited about any noticeable progress that you have, because if you can become the type of guy where seeing any progress based on the work that you put in motivates you to go harder, then you just set yourself for a fucking, you know, infinite feedback loop in a positive way. That's a goddamn upward spiral. Very rare. The upward spiral is not a crazy common occurrence. Typically downward spirals are more fucking frequent.
From now on, whenever you have a goal, the only question you ask is, how? Whenever you have a problem to solve, the only question you ask is, how? If you have an obstacle to overcome, the only question you ask is, how? Now, the wonderful thing about the word how is that it triggers ideas, and the ideas are all for actions that you can take immediately. And when you take those ideas, you start to get feedback, which enables you to correct your course and take even better steps to achieve your goals. So the average person, when they have a problem, complains and blames other people about the problem. Top people, when they have a problem or goal, they simply say, how can I achieve this goal? And they try this, and they try that, and they try something else, but it never occurs to them that they will not eventually be successful. So they think about what they want and how to get it.
If nothing changes, you've got to then change something. So in your relationship, in your money, in your mindset, in your muscles, if nothing changes, don't repeat the same patterns and expect a different outcome, right?
Yeah. You stay consistent, you keep your head down, you grind, you learn from the mistakes you make, you don't give up when you have a failure. Instead, you kind of like use it as data. It's like, okay, I don't do that next time. And like, after some amount of years, I truly believe for 90% of people, let's say, because I know there is some luck and opportunity involved, but for at least 95% of people, that if they just don't give up, like keep their head down, learn from the mistakes they make, pivot based on that, they're going to get to a higher level of success than they could ever imagine.
You must suffer, and you must embrace that suffering in a very positive way. It's not like, okay, I'm going to put up with this. No, I don't know what this day is going to bring.
Yeah.
I'm going to be grateful for all the, the dessert I get to eat, but man, there's going to be things I don't like, and I'm grateful for that too, in advance.